you seen this type of footage before?
No, I can imagine what it's like.
Yeah.
I mean, why does it still happen? I mean,
I can tell you why.
Why? Go on.
Because people are still paying for it to happen. Non-vegans. Yeah. Are you vegan yourself?
No, I'm not.
Can I ask why?
I like meat, I suppose.
Yeah, like the taste of it and...
To be honest, no. Because
Yeah.
you never know what's in it, do you? Let's face it. You know,
Yeah.
it's only like...
So you've just grown up that way? Yeah, like I was too, yeah. Everybody.
I'm old school, really.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But I mean, but not all farms farm that way, do they?
Yes, so it's standard practice amongst board, no matter where the animals are raised. Obviously, like 90+% are in factory farms in horrible, horrible conditions.
Yeah.
But no matter where they come from, whether it's someone's backyard and they get a belly rub every day, they all go to a slaughterhouse, don't they? They all have to have their head chopped off. Are you okay with animal abuse? What do you think about it?
And depends what you define animal abuse.
How would you define abuse?
Well, I couldn't say if there's a horse that's been starved and the long hooves and that they've got, I class that as abuse. Well, I suppose really from someone who's a vegan, you're looking at that as abuse.
Well, fundamentally, it's to harm somebody, right? To inflict pain or cruelty. So abuse can also extend to like emotional abuse, exploiting somebody. Like that's all, there's so many forms of abuse, and I think can I assume that you would be against abusing anybody if you have the choice not to?
Of course.
Yeah,
of course.
absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, we all have a right to self-defense, but
Yes.
these animals aren't. They aren't harming us in any way, are they? They don't have a choice. They're forced into it.
That's right.
And you can see the suffering in their face. They don't want to be there.
But did you start off as a vegetarian and then went to vegan?
I did transition over time, but that's because I wasn't truly aware of what I was paying for. I wasn't aware of what happened in the dairy industry. Are you aware?
No.
Yeah, so it's the same as the meat industry essentially, but I would actually say in some ways it can be worse because they're actually exploited and enslaved their whole life. Their milk is stolen from them, the babies are separated away from them.
Yeah.
The male cows, what do you think happens to them, the baby cows?
Well, they're what are they called?
Calves.
No.
Oh, sorry.
No. When they was exporting them abroad, the baby
Oh,
calves.
live export and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, because they don't produce milk, right? They're males. What do you think happens to them? They're considered a waste product.
Well, I suppose dog meat, I suppose.
They murder them, yeah, they murder them. They send them to a slaughterhouse just at a very, very young age, babies. And then when the mother cows, they don't produce enough milk, where do you think they go?
Same place.
Yeah, at a fraction of their natural lifespan.
Yeah.
So dairy industry, the same with the egg industry, it's the exact same logic there. They all go to a slaughterhouse. That's all the meat industry.
But do you find it's hard to be a vegan?
No, not at all. It's actually, it's one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life.
But aren't you lacking something from your...
You can get all the nutrients on a vegan diet, man.
Yeah.
You can thrive on a vegan diet. It's actually so easy.
So if you ever go out to a restaurant for a meal with friends and they're not vegans, or have all your friends vegans?
I have non-vegan friends, yes.
Yes. So what I'm saying is...
There's always a vegan option.
Yeah, but...
And there's so many vegan restaurants now.
Yeah, but you want more than one vegan option, is there?
Oh, pretty much most places are. Or, because you know what happens to these animals, you just say, like, it's really important that we go to a place that has good vegan options. If not, they're fully vegan. Especially here in England, it's a very vegan country. It's the number one vegan country in the world.
Yeah.
So you really have all the choices at your fingertips. You can go to any grocery store and you can choose a vegan option.
Yeah.
Knowing you're against animal abuse, what's stopping you from just choosing that vegan option and living vegan?
Very true.
Yeah, what's stopping you?
Well, I think it all comes down to also things like I shop in Primark a lot. I know a lot of stuff is made in Bangladesh and them sort of places where probably kids of about 12-year-old are working there. It manifests itself right the way down the line. Do you know what I mean?
So I understand what you're talking about. You're talking about the human rights issue, and I do
Yes.
believe that is a very important issue, and it's the same logic applies. Knowing that you have the option that doesn't involve that exploitation, that abuse and a murder, what's stopping you from choosing the vegan option every time?
Good question.
What's your reasoning?
Very good question. Now, on Norwich Market now, I've just got something to eat. Is there vegan stall on
Yeah,
there.
well, there'll be vegan options everywhere. You can go to Pret a Manger, you can go anywhere. So again, I'll ask you, do you have any reason no longer to not be a vegan? No reason at all. Yeah, so now imagine yourself in their position. You're in that slaughterhouse, these animals, they don't want to be there. How soon would you want your oppressor to go vegan?
Absolutely, yeah, vegan.
How soon? Hello.
This woman's stalking me. I don't know who she is. She's vegan.
You're vegan?
Yeah, she is.
No, you're not a vegan.
No.
Well, I was just asking you. I was going to say, how soon would you want someone to go vegan if you're in the animal's position?
Now.
Now. And what's stopping you from going vegan now after this conversation?
Well, I'll go home and I'll think about it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of stuff in my cupboards that I've got to get rid of.
Sure.
Before I can be vegan.
Sure. What I would
Throw
ask.
that preservatives away. It's bad for
Absolutely, get
your
rid of it.
health.
Well, because if
You wanna
I'll
be
ask you a
healthy.
question then. I'll ask you a question. If you went home and for some reason there were human body parts in your pantry, would you finish them off, or knowing that those humans were abused and murdered, would you bloody give them a funeral? Yeah, give them a funeral or throw them out at the very minimum. So knowing that those animals go through such horrendous lives, they're abused
Eating
and they're
dead
murdered.
meat.
Absolutely, it's no different.
That's why
Morally,
bad
it's
for
no different
our
to a human being
digestive
in terms of their
system,
murder. Yeah.
For our body.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for
Especially
this
as we get
conversation,
older.
mate.
And to you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's recording. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
I'm from Australia.
Oh.
Australia,
see.
yeah.
What's up, Mike?
Why are you here? With
See you later.
vegan?
I'm going to
I like that coat. It's nice.
Levi's.
Very nice.
I like this.
Yeah. Primark.
Is that wool?
Yeah. it's
Yeah,
nice.
probably.
I'll see you later.
Yeah,
See you later.
Well, what I will say is so long as you choose to think about it, ponder on it, these animals are going to be abused and they're going to be murdered every time you pay for
made
it.
an impression on me.
I'm glad I
That's
have.
the thing.
I'm glad I have.
How
You
long
sound like you're a caring
how
person.
How long have you been in England?
I've been around Europe for about 2.5 months. I'm back here probably in a total about a month and a half.
So, how is Australia coping with the vegan
Oh, it's
issue?
great. It's great.
it
Honestly,
fair?
because fundamentally, you can just choose the most basic and nourishing foods. Whole grains, vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds.
But do you
Every grocery store has the vegan meat alternatives, the dairy
Do you-
alternatives.
Do you think in the future that meat will gradually fade out?
I think if people actually are aware of what happens to these animals and realize that they're paying for animal abuse despite being against animal abuse and exploitation,
Yeah.
I think the world can go vegan. I think we got a long way, but it all starts with individuals, and that's why I'm talking to you right now.
Sure.
Because-
Because Australia has big open spaces, loads and lamb
Yeah.
and everything there, haven't they?
Yeah.
That's what they're known for, I
Sure,
think.
sure.
And all their meat. So it's a vast country. So presumably the people who produce that would be against this. Do you know what I mean?
Sure, yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. There was once human slavery everywhere. There was once human slavery everywhere, and it all comes
There
down
was.
to shutting those industries down and putting money towards the industries that don't involve violence,
Sure.
exploitation.
Absolutely.
And it all starts with supply and demand and where you put your money. You're voting for it. You can either vote for violence or you can
Yeah.
vote for peace.
Yeah.
Are you going to vote for peace with your money?
Oh, so cool. With my money.
Yeah, so every time you pay for something, you're either putting your money towards that, violence, towards animals, or you can put your money towards the vegan option and fund those industries.
Yes.
Do you think you might do that?
Yeah, look at that.
Do you think you might do that?
Dreadful,
Can I give you a
isn't it?
card to take away and you can research?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get a card. So search that up,
Yeah, I will.
3movies.wtf.
Yeah.
Everything you need to know to go vegan, brother.
Food for thought, let's put it that way.
Well, I would say this isn't food for thought. I would say it's a moral obligation because you say you're against animal abuse.
I'm against everything abuse. to be honest.
Absolutely,
I mean,
absolutely. Human abuse, animal
I'm
abuse.
a gay man, you know. And
Yeah.
that still goes on now.
It does.
Gay
It's
bashing
horrible.
and stuff
It's
like
horrible.
that, you know, so
Yeah. So you can imagine what it would be like to be exploited, to be abused, to be tormented by people.
could not imagine.
Just imagine what they're going through.
Yeah.
You can empathise with
But
them.
we're so spoiled in England, so spoiled.
And I would say that we're spoiled we're spoiled of choice
They're
in
still
terms that we
alive,
can actually
aren't they?
choose the vegan option no matter where
They
you
are
go.
still alive.
Yeah, it's fucked up. It's fucked up. So it's about no longer paying for that. Good on you, mate. You have a great day. See you.